Peace and greetings. Presenting the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, providing in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, bringing you truth messages of inspiration, keen insight, reputable interviews, and so much more. So now, for the truth you've been waiting for, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, ORRA, the informationalist.
Yes, peace and greetings, people. This is ORRA, the informationalist, and I'm doing a live show today. Welcome to the Network of Awareness. This is Season 4, Episode 83, and this is the Narcissism Series, Part 5. And I decided to do this show live because I'm streaming live on YouTube and on Twitter. I'm not streaming live yet on Facebook, only because I'm opening up and starting a whole new Facebook page. I deleted the ones that I had because it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. So I'll be setting up a new Facebook page. Plus, I'll be setting up a Facebook group for anybody who's interested in joining. It's going to be for all of my Network of Awareans. And peace and greetings to you folks. What a beautiful day on this Wisdom Wednesday. And I'm just taking some time out here while on camera. So if you see me looking down, it's only because I'm just looking for my artwork that I am going to be posting up for today's show. Here we go. I'll put the hashtags in the description after the live broadcast. So if you do get to tune into this live broadcast on Twitter, YouTube, or on Spreaker audibly, you're more than welcome. Now, if you want to join my Spreaker live show, all you got to do is go to the Spreaker app and you'll see me pop right up. You just type in the Network of Awareness. You need an email. So you're going to have to set up a free account with an email, but you can actually listen to the live shows audibly on Spreaker whenever I go live. And of course, you'll get notifications when I do. And then you'll also get notifications when an episode's post. Now, I post episodes 5 days a week, people, Monday through Friday. I used to post episodes at 7 p.m., but now usually what I'll do is I'll post episodes throughout the day. So sometimes I'll post an episode at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sometimes at 10. Really depends on my schedule. That's why I put on my description page that my episodes are released daily. There is no time set. The thing is that you will get an episode for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And sometimes you'll even get a bonus episode on Saturday or Sunday, like we did this past Sunday with the brothers Julian and Take One, which was a great episode. And the brothers did such a good job in reading scriptures and breaking it down. And you want to hear something crazy? That those brothers, one is 23 years old, the other one is 26. Okay? So that says a hell of a lot. Now, in regards to today's episode is the Narcissism series. This is called Building Bullshit Narratives. That's right, people. Building bullshit narratives. Because that's what the narcissist does in a lot of different types of relationships. So, with that being said, brothers and sisters, I want to say this, is that when it comes to narcissism, you got to take it seriously, because so many different people are just like, they're lost in the sauce when it comes to narcissistic behavior, because the narcissist keeps you so overwhelmed with toxic, manipulative, misleading behavior and antics and all types of confusion. All right. So we're going to talk about that because it's something that needs to be discussed. And like I said, I'm going to be focusing on mental health on the network of awareness moving forward. I've done it before, but it's going to become a main focal point besides the science appliance and besides, talking about spiritual matters and besides talking about socially controlling matters when it comes to our governments and when it comes to the hidden secret government or the black government or whatever you want to call it, because we have to expose this legacy of lies. But when it does come to narcissism, that's mental health. And I'm going to have many guests that specialize in mental health because the mental health here in the United States is extremely poor. Probably it's been the most poor, it's the poorest it's ever been, even more than the Great Depression, because now the mental illness is the illness where people don't even realize that they're being bamboozled. They think that everything that's going on is normal and they're very much comfortable in it because that's what the Matrix was explaining when Morpheus was telling Neo, hey, this is what it is. This is what we're dealing with. These people don't want to be unplugged. Just like the last Matrix, he said they love it here. They don't want to be unplugged. But when it comes to narcissism, these people are very comfortable in their toxic behavior. And the reason I called it building bullshit narratives is because that's what they do. They are such, I can't say they're good liars because if you can see this, they're really not. But what they're good at doing is building a narrative based on lies. And they will keep feeding that narrative to the point where the person who doesn't understand that they're being lied to, and sometimes it could be a group of people, sometimes it could be one person. But what winds up happening is they build the narrative so well and they're so deeply rooted in building that narrative that narrative to other people becomes very real because it's being supported with a plethora of lies, lies upon lies, compound lies upon lies. And this is something I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of people talk about it. Peace to Sister Nama. Thank you for joining the live broadcast. Really appreciate your participation. And speaking of Sister Nama and many of you other brothers and sisters, thank you for all the people that are sending me such positive messages in my chat room, in my emails, in my DMs. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate y'all. I love y'all because without your love and support, it would be really difficult to do this. But because you do support, it makes it a lot easier for me to move forward and really pursue this platform or pursue the podcasting business because it's a booming industry, but it's not why I'm in it. I'm in it because I love doing this. And when I get that positive feedback from you guys, it just gives me that confirmation that I'm on the right path in pursuing this purpose of serving the Most High the best way I can with the gifts that have been given. And that leads me to why I focus on narcissism, because narcissism is a matter of life and death. Literally, it really is a matter of life and death. This is something that can't be taken, should be taken seriously. It can't be taken lightly. That's what I wanted to say. It's not something to take lightly because this behavior, depending on the dynamics in a relationship, doesn't matter if it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, a marriage, a co-worker, a boss, an uncle, an aunt, a sister, a brother, a mother, a father, a grandmother. I mean, these dynamics in relationships when dealing with narcissistic people is steadily growing. And that's one of the reasons why I am presenting so much information on this, because not only have I researched and studied this and continue to study it, but I personally was dealing with a narcissistic woman that was off the meat racks when it came to deception, when it came to dishonesty, when it came to building bullshit narratives, when it came to a lot of these toxic personality traits that they have. I've been gaslighted by other narcissists, based upon what it is that I do, because a narcissist, they don't like to be exposed. That's like death to a narcissist. They're going to take that real personal. You might as well just stab a narcissist. They probably prefer that you stab them in the heart than actually expose them to other people. But it's important that we do that. But there's a way to go about it. And the reason why there's a way to go about it is because of this very thing right here, building narratives. This is what they do, people. I've seen it for so many years. I've seen one of my siblings actually do this. And it was insane to watch my sibling do this, my older, because I'm the youngest out of my 3 other siblings. But to watch them perform this building bullshit narratives was quite amazing sometimes. Because what they do is, number one, what a narc does, and a narc being code for narcissists, is that they're going to what's called triangulate, and they are going to build a narrative for people that you may be associated with or know, and you may not even know these people well. You might know them just in passing. They might be associates. But what they do is they'll feed that person a lie. They'll plant that seed. It could be 1 or 2 seeds. Now, depending on the mindset of that person, not knowing what this person is doing, they're going to trust that what they told them is actually true. And then what they'll do is they'll keep feeding that, because once they got the people to believe the bullshit, they're just going to put more shit on top of the first shit that they planted in the ground. And you're going to have a nice shit plant. It's going to grow, and it's going to have a lot of roots and leaves, and it's going to bear a lot of shit because they're cultivating. They are watering that shit seed so that it can grow and flourish to the point where the person that is being abused, the person that's being talked about, the person who they are creating this bullshit narrative about is completely lost and confused, because they don't even know that this is happening until it all comes smacking them in the face. Or should I say, when the shit hits the fan and the shit splatters all over your face, then you're like, where the hell did this come from? And then if you can wipe your eyes from all the shit that you just experienced that just splattered on your face, you'll see the narc literally giggling behind that fan with a big pile of shit in their hand, just for you. This is what they do. And it's so overwhelming, people. And I feel so sorry for people that wind up being in these type of dynamic relationships for years. And for me, I'm glad that I'm very self-aware to the point where when I was fasting, and I fast a lot nowadays, and sometimes not even on purpose, sometimes it's just natural. But praise the Most High for fasting, because if it wasn't for fasting, I don't think that I would clearly see the abuse that I was receiving or the abuse that was being done to other people with this particular person. But I've dealt with other people that are narcissistic, because that's what they do. They'll create narratives and people will jump on board, and they can use anything. A lot of people use this, right? They use the skin complexion. A lot of people are stuck on skin complexion. You got a lot of these people that are pro-white, pro-black, pro-Latino, and it's all bullshit, because what we should be is pro-human. We should be pro-spiritual beings having a physical experience. But there's only going to be a few that understand that. The many are going to be the sheeple that are weak-minded, that don't want to awaken to the truth that is right in front of their face. And a lot of that is because of these narcs that build these narratives for people to believe in. One perfect example of somebody who built a very shitty-ass bullshit narrative was the good old Mr. Orange, our previous president. Good old Donald Trump. Yeah, I said it. Donnie, baby. Good old Donald Trump built narratives like no other, right? He said, oh, I've gotten more jobs for people in the United States, for Americans, in the history of presidents. Lie. When he told people, hey, this thing with Caca-19, it's going to be here one day, gone tomorrow. We're going to be just fine. Lie. When he told y'all that y'all should take the science appliance and that everything was going to work out because he took it and it worked out for him. Lie. But by him planting those seeds into the subconscious mind of Americans that are watching him on TV, they're believing him because they're looking at it like he's our president. Why would he lie to us? Plus, he's built this narrative that he tells it how it is. And he's so real and authentic in his speech, like he don't give a fuck. He just tells it how it is and he don't care what anybody thinks. It's a lie. Because many of you that don't know, presidents are selected. They're not elected. There is no vote that's going to put a president to office. That's all smoke and mirrors. That's all big masquerade party for everybody to enjoy, to make them feel like they're part of something. But the reality is that that man was selected because he was such a good narc. And the powers that be, they knew that by having a man like that in office, many different ethnicities were going to support him, because many people in this country, it doesn't matter what cultural background you come from, there's a lot of narcissists sprouting up in the world today. And that's why you have people from all different ethnic backgrounds and from all different social constructs like black, white, and brown supporting him. Why? Because a lot of people have narcissistic behavior. They conduct themselves very narcissistically. So when you're seeing another man behave in that manner, of course, you're going to be like, I feel connected to him. How many people said that he tells it how it is? Like, he's the man. He's going to set it off. Like, he's not putting up with none of this. He don't like the commercial media. And it's like smoke and mirrors. The man was so good at deceiving. Perfect example is he was on the charter for Jeffrey Epstein's little pedophile sex island. And when they brought it up to him, what did he say? Oh, I haven't spoken to him in years, you know? But he didn't answer the question like, you on that charter, bro, you've been to that island. But what did he do? He spins it with more lies and keeps it moving. And then everybody acts like nothing happened. It's the same thing with a narc in society. They do this with their family. They do this with their children. They do this with their partners. They do this with everybody they encounter, because they are so self-centered. They only care about themselves. And a lot of narcissists do have sociopath and psychopathic tendencies. That's why they can cheat on you, and literally cheat on you sometimes right in front of your face, believe it or not. And they really don't give a shit about your feelings at all. They are capable of doing some of the worst things, just like a psychopath or a sociopath. Now, not all narcs have psychopathic or sociopathic tendencies, but what they all share is a very low level or non-existent empathy within their heart and mind. The empathy comes from the heart. You know, if you see something, it's like you can become desensitized, just like many of our children are becoming desensitized with the video games. They're becoming desensitized with how society in the movies is showing a lot of killing. So children are becoming desensitized, just like an inmate that's in jail. Once that inmate sees somebody get stabbed up a couple of times, after a while, they become desensitized. It's like nothing. And with the narcissist, it's just like that. Whenever they're playing you, whenever they're gaslighting you or hoovering or love bombing and all these different terms, if you don't know what gaslighting is, it's when they're basically doing this, when they're building this narrative to keep you confused, where they're building a narrative based on lies. And they'll chastise you for something that they did, but they'll project it on you. So let's say that your husband went out, he's a narc, and he comes home and you guys get into an argument because you're like, listen, you smell like perfume, you got alcohol in your breath and all this. And he's like, you're bugging, you crazy. What are you talking about? I had one beer. Yeah, I had one drink, but I wasn't drinking like that. And what do you mean smell like? I don't smell like perfume. That's you. You creating this in your own mind. But they're so adamant and so definite in the way that they present this to you. And then he's actually was out hanging out with another woman. And then what he'll say to his wife when he cuts home and he's being questioned for his suspect behavior, he's going to tell his wife, oh, you're probably the one cheating. You're probably the one that went out to such and such bar on this day or this restaurant, and you probably with this guy and all this. Now they're projecting exactly what they're doing to the T. I mean, literally to the T. They are projecting it onto you because that's what they're doing to you. But they'll do it in such a way that depending on your mindset, after a while, you're going to start thinking not so much that you're cheating on them because you know you're not, but you're going to start thinking that you are going crazy, that maybe you are a little paranoid. Maybe there is something wrong with you, when in reality, there's nothing wrong with you. Everything is wrong with them. It's the same thing with siblings. Sometimes There'll be a brother or sister that has a problem with one of their brothers or sisters, and they'll get the family to start turning on you being the sibling because they don't like you, and they'll start creating lies. They'll be like, so-and-so said this, and then one person says, really? And then, next thing you know, it's a snowball of lies. They keep building momentum to where it comes crashing down like an avalanche onto you, being the prey, so to speak. Them being the predator, them being the antagonizer, and you being the one that's being antagonized. And it's a horrible experience, people, because a lot of times the people that are conducting themselves in this way, we have respect for them, we love them, we care about them. So when they start projecting this toxic behavior onto us, it's somewhat confusing. So there's a part of your mind where you have yet to decompartmentalize to where you're still open to receiving this abuse because you love them. So in your mind, you don't want to be inconsiderate. You want to be empathetic, but they're using the very gifts that are fruitful of your spirit, like many people out here, the very essence of what makes you you, which is your empathy, your compassion, your charity, your loving nature, your self-respect, whatever. They start to chisel at it and break it down bit by bit. Like if it was a stone, they're just chiseling it down to nothing, to dust. And then that statue or that human being that you once was, you now forget yourself completely. I've seen this happen. It's even happened to a certain degree to myself where I started becoming so confused that I was like, wait a second, I have to step back. And if it wasn't for fasting, I have to say that again. If it wasn't for fasting, I don't know if I would have been able to see the things I was seeing. And also karma. See, karma is serving people up something special these days. I mean, really, it's serving them up something special. Karma is coming swift these days. Because I've seen a couple of brothers that are not looking too good. They look a little hurt because karma looks like it's smacking them dead in the face. But if it wasn't for karma in my situation, I probably wouldn't have known, because what goes around comes around, and that energy, that you're putting out in the universe, it will come back to bite you in the ass. That's why you'll notice that a lot of narcissists, they're constantly moving. They're constantly canceling social media accounts and creating new ones. They're constantly recycling because they can't have the lies catch up to them. So it's almost like they try to erase any evidence of the lie. So whenever their bullshit narratives that they're building high start come crashing down, they're going to go to a new foundation, a new source of supply of energy, and they're going to build another shitty narrative for another experience for somebody to encounter that's going to be very confusing and very misleading, and it's going to be filled with tons of manipulation. I mean, so much manipulation that it'll make your fucking head spin. That's how toxic these people are. And they can't stop. It's almost like a mental sickness, to be honest with you people. It really is. It's like a mental sickness, and it's quite disturbing, but it is a reality. And 9.5 times out of 10, these people will never, ever change. And something that the clinical psychologist, Dr. Ramani, said, that she would prefer, in her opinion, that all narcs get together. The problem with that, she said, is that she wouldn't want them to have kids. If they just stay not procreating and just be together, the world would be a better place. And I agree. I think that narcissistic people deserve each other. I had a friend in upstate New York in the Newburgh, Orange County area. And of course, I won't say his name. But this friend got with a woman that was very narcissistic. I wouldn't say he was narcissistic, but he was grimy. And what I mean by grimy is like he couldn't keep his pee-pee in his pants. I mean, if it could walk and talk and breathe, he was probably going to stick his fork in it. And he got with this woman who was like 100,000 times more deceitful than he was, which when they both got together, it was literally a sight to see. It was like, pull out the popcorn. Let's see who's going to have more toxic behavior today. And let's see whose manipulation is going to win the other one over. And I got to tell you, man, watching this relationship, they wound up having kids. Now, they might still be together because birds of a feather flock together, or they might not be. I don't know. I really don't give a shit. But it was quite interesting that they had children. And I'm just like, those poor kids, to be in such a toxic relationship or to be involved with one amongst two narcissists. But going back to the topic at hand, when it comes to this narcissism, I've seen it to where there are people that built narratives 20 years ago. Can't make this shit up. There are people that build narratives from over 20 years ago and still stick to that bullshit narrative. I've seen it so many times. I know somebody that, that I know personally that, when I was dealing with them in the court system, they literally got caught with drugs in their system. Okay. Red-handed. Okay. Drug tests failed. But you know what they did? They told the people that they went to an urgent care because it was a female. She said she had a miscarriage at the urgent care, or went to the urgent care because she had a miscarriage. And that because she had a miscarriage, she was given pain pills to deal with the pain from the loss of the fetus. So they asked her to provide proof of that. And they called multiple urgent cares in her community. Nothing. So what was her next lie? Her next lie was, well, the reason why there is no record, I can't even keep a straight face when I say this, but they say even the reason why they can't keep record of this is because she said that when they gave her the pain pills, she just walked out in a hurry and didn't sign any papers when she left. So that's why they don't have no documentation of her even being there. And the crazy part is that to this day, that woman is sticking to the story. And you guys got to imagine, it's like, imagine just being caught with your hand in the cookie jar. And you're just standing there like, I don't have a cookie in my hand, and you got chocolate chip all smudged on your face. That's what a narcissist does, people. They are going to live and die with the lie. It's almost like they have demons on. That's what I personally believe. I know a lot of people don't talk about it, but they literally have demons on them. More than one. I've seen it. I've seen the demons on certain people. Even recently. And it's creepy, man. It's creepy because they have this energy around them that's so dark. And then once you see it for what it is, you're like, damn, why couldn't I see that sooner? But the reality is that like me and many of you that are listening to this broadcast, you have seen it. It's just like when I did that show, No More Benefits for the Doubts. It's like, no more benefits. You've seen it for what it is. But you give them the benefit of the doubt. I've done it, people. It happens to the best of us. Why? Because we have empathy. We have compassion. We're sympathetic. And for the most part, we want to see the best. And sometimes we get to see potential in people and we hold on to that. But I'm here to tell you as a PSA, public service announcement, no more benefits for the doubts. We can't do it no more, people. No, no, no. Can't give these narcs any benefits because if you do, the lie will continue to persist. And with the best thing you can do with people like this that like to build bullshit narratives is to not entertain them and to not even be around them and completely ghost them and eliminate them out your life. Ignore the shit out of them. Create an environment for yourself where they no longer exist in it, no matter what. And if you do have to deal with them in the workplace or certain environments where they can't be avoided, be very short with them. Be very short. Give them very, very limited answers. And whenever they try to gaslight you or build these bullshit narratives, just hit them with like a sentence like, oh, it's interesting that you feel like that. I see things a different way. And I'm not going to compromise what I believe in. But if that's what you believe in, I respect that. But I'm going to believe what I want to believe. Now, it doesn't matter what they say. All that matters is that you set that and you keep it moving. You keep it moving. You don't engage with them because that's what they want. They want that energy supply. They want you to be entangled in the web that they are deceiving you. They want you to get tangled in that web of deception. And just like a spider, when somebody or insect gets caught up in that web, the more they struggle within the web, the more they get entangled in the web. And it's no different than dealing with narcissistic people because they need that energy supply to fuck your mind up and to get whatever it is they want out of you. There's people that have podcasts and certain platforms that are very narcissistic, and they manipulate the shit out of the people that listen to them. There's people with YouTube channels like that. They're constantly mind fucking people with a lot of nonsense. And a lot of times it works, and they get them to buy stuff from them and all that, you know? And the moment that you don't agree with something that they do, they're blocking you, they're censoring you, they're talking shit about you, they're gaslighting you. I mean, the list goes on and on, right? Just like we talked about in gaslighting with Brother Oxacod not too long ago. But the problem is when they build these bullshit narratives and turn people against you. And I'm here to tell you this. If the people that they turned against you allow themselves to be turned people, don't give them any time of day. Just look at them for what they are, weak-minded. Because the strong individuals, the ones that are going to be like, nah, I'm not going for that. Nah, I don't believe that to be true. You know, matter of fact, I had a friend that for 23 years. There was a very close friend of mine. And this brother, me and him were real tight. But he was always hating on me on the low. Always a hater. Always been a hater since I met him. But what did I do? I gave him a lot of benefits of doubts. And what was interesting is that here we are. We was 41 years old at the time. And I was here in Florida. And, you know, my friends mostly are in the Bronx or in New York City. And he was having a conversation with another friend of mine. And he was like, yeah, you know, ORRA's going to do this and he's going to steal my information and blah, blah, blah. And my friend was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Because he couldn't understand what he was talking about because it made no sense. But in his mind, he was trying to make it make sense. And then when I approached him about it, the story changed it up to another lie. But what happened was, if it wasn't for my friend being like, you know what? You are full of shit and you need to stop your bullshit. And he confronted him like that. Of course, he got upset and it was like, you know, they wasn't talking for a while. But what did my friend do? He's like, yo, I got to tell you something. So-and-so said this, and that. And he's just bugging. And I was like, oh, really? Oh, really? 41 years old and we still on this bullshit. Okay. And I had to confront them and I had to let him go. And I'm going to tell you something, people. When I let this brother go, that I was tight with friends, close friends. I mean, we've been through a lot together. We created some great music together. But the moment that I dropped them like a bad habit out of my life got so much better. Because what I've noticed is that with these types of people that build bullshit narratives and are very narcissistic and have this toxic behavior, it's draining you. It's limiting your level of growth. It's so important to be around people that inspire you. It's so important to be around people that uplift your spirit. It's so important to be around people that truly do care and love you. Because when you're around narcissists, they're so good at bullshitting you. And even though you think things are going well, they're really not. And you don't even realize it until it's all said and done. Because the moment I let this 23-year friendship go, my life started getting better and better. And it couldn't have come at a better time because I was dealing with so much stuff being a single dad that I literally had to send my daughter back from where she came from after working so hard for 13 years to get her, you know, full time. But when it comes to these narcs, they build narratives, just like with our children. A lot of parents, especially when the parents are separated, they'll get the children to turn on the other parent without the parent knowing. It's happened to me with my daughter. Her mother would build narratives that you wouldn't even imagine, that you would have thought that I was Satan in the flesh. But then once people kind of, you know, it's always the person with the person who knows how to use intellect, the person that knows how to decipher through things, that when they hear certain narratives, they're like, oh, that's not adding up. That's a little too far-fetched. But there's not many people. You'll usually find 1 out of 10 people that will be like that. The other 9, they're going to be like, oh, word, yeah? Oh, man, yeah. I don't like the way he dresses or whatever the case may be, right? Because people have that groupthink mentality. And that's why there's so many people suffering from this shit right here, from these bullshit narratives. Because we live in a society, especially, I speak mostly about America, United Shenanigans of America. I have to, you know, shout this out because I'm pretty sure that the narcissists exist everywhere because I've seen people on YouTube that educate about this and they come from all different parts of the country or from the world. And speaking of people around the world, I want to take some time out to thank a couple of people because let me tell you, brothers and sisters, whatever y'all doing, keep doing it. Keep spreading the word. Keep downloading all the shows. If you didn't hear season 1 shows or 2 or 3 and you're new to my platform or even 4, because we're almost done with 4. I've been putting out audiograms and videos of my shows from the past just to kind of remind people like, hey, we're almost 400 shows in, people. We're not we be putting in the work here at the Network of Awareness. And if you haven't listened to some of the past shows for some of the new listeners, please do. But the growth that we've had for this past month, people, insane. So all I got to say is thank you because we only getting better, baby. We don't get bitter over here at the Network of Awareness. And even though there was a lot of people that was swearing, they was like, he should just quit. Like, I don't see him continuing to do this because we shut it down. It's like, nah, man, I just shut it up, took a break, and then I came back like I injected steroids on this podcast, and it ain't gonna stop. But with that being said, I just want to give a shout out to several countries, and then I'm gonna give a shout out to a lot of people that are supporting me in the United States. So when it comes to around the world, I want to shout out South Africa, Saudi Arabia. Matter of fact, my podcast is rated under 200 in Saudi Arabia, which I think is pretty cool. So thank you, Saudi Arabia. Appreciate y'all so much. Shout outs to Ireland. Thank you so much. Y'all been rocking with me for a minute. Shout outs to Georgia. And I'm not talking about the state of Georgia. I'm talking about Georgia, Russia. Shout outs to Denmark. Yes, Denmark. Something smells rotten in Denmark, right? But we're going to find where that stench is at the Network of Awareness. So thank you so much. Also, Bangladesh. Thank you so much. Shout outs to Norway, to all my peoples in Norway. Shout outs to Italy. Shout outs to DR Congo. Shout outs to the Philippines, Mexico. Todo mi gente en Mexico. Shout outs to the Netherlands, as well as Austria. Shout outs to Germany. Shout outs to India. Let me tell you something. India and United Kingdom. Shout outs to the United Kingdom. Y'all been supporting me since the first week that I came onto the scene. So I think that's amazing that I had followers literally within the first 3 days of podcasting. All praise to the Most High, baby, for that. And y'all still here. Y'all still here. So keep spreading the word. Let the Network of Awareness, let's grow it out in India and United Kingdom. And also, last but not least, as far as, outside the United States, Canada, baby. Shout outs to Robert Riopel. I mean, I appreciate everybody from Canada that's just been supporting. I love Canada. I like the people in Canada. I really do. Like, if there's any place that I would move to besides South America, or certain parts of South America, I shouldn't say all, would be Canada. Canada, I don't know, man. The people, they're nice. They remind me of people from Ohio. They just, I don't know. I know there's probably some toxic people in Canada, right? But I just haven't met any. Now, when it comes to the United States, baby, let's give a shout out to Indiana, District of Columbia, Arizona, Utah, Michigan, Washington, Alabama, Rhode Island, Colorado, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Nevada, South Carolina, Virginia, Ohio, Missouri. Shout outs to Missouri. Shout outs to all my haters in Missouri too, because I know y'all listening and trolling. So keep trolling, because I know y'all hiding in the shadows. Shout outs to Minnesota. Shout outs to all my peoples out in Oklahoma, baby. Let's go. Shout outs to Illinois, especially to my peoples throughout Illinois, Chicago, the Heights, all of those people. Thank you so much. I've been rocking with me for a minute. Shout outs to California. California, baby. Let's go. Shout outs to North Carolina. Really do appreciate you, brothers and sisters out there. Shout outs to Tennessee, as well as Louisiana, New Jersey, Texas, Georgia. Let's go. Georgia don't be playing around, baby. Georgia be doing it. Y'all ranked number 3 now in the world as far as Network of Awareness that listen. And you know how we do in New York, baby. Shout outs to New York, where I was born and raised, baby. And then last but not least, guess who came back in first place? Florida. You know how we do. Shout outs to Pinellas Park, St. Pete, Ocala, West Palm Beach, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Pinellas Park, Jacksonville, Tampa, Sarasota. Shout outs to Palm Coast. Shout outs to all my peoples in the South. Love y'all. So now that we got that out the way, I just want to thank y'all because the growth has been tremendous. And you know what's crazy is that I had a small portion of people that were avid listeners drop off, right? Because of bullshit narratives that were being built. But it's all good, baby, because when it's bad, it's still all good. So even though we got rid of some of these, pretenders, I call them, because, people are going to go with what they believe even when it's wrong. And that's on them. That's their karma to deal with, not mine. I sleep well at night, people. I'm not sending messages into people's chat rooms at 3:00 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I do. Yes, shout outs to Co-op City, baby. Let's go. I grew up in Castle Hill, sister. So you was only like 3 exits away, or should I say 4 on the Bruckner Boulevard. Shout outs to Bruckner Boulevard as well. Shout outs to all the peoples throughout New York City, Harlem World, where I learned a lot. If it wasn't for Harlem, I don't think I would have learned how to make money. Honestly, Harlem taught me how to make money. So I'll never forget Harlem for that. Shout outs to, Staten Island, and shout outs to Brook Norm. And of course, last but not least, Queens, baby, and the Bronx. So I wanted to just take that time out to show my appreciation. Definitely got a lot of things coming into the fold, we got so many things coming that I'm going to do it right. See, one thing I've learned this past year is let's do things right. And also I got to set boundaries. And the reason I'm becoming good at setting boundaries like I used to have when I was younger, and I kind of lost that, but I'm getting so good at it because of this shit right here. This narcissistic shit. This narcissistic stuff is so real that it woke me up that you got to have boundaries with people, because if not, the narcs, they're like the predator that's waiting in the wings. They're like Predator, like the movie, where they're in camouflage and they're sitting up on a tree and all you hear is and something's there, but you can't see it because they're just watching you. That's what narcs do. And then they come in and fuck your whole life up. And to all my narcissistic abuse survivors, I say salute to all of y'all. Really, really. Keep putting in that work. All of the people that have been messaging me on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, and especially on TikTok. Shout outs to everybody on TikTok, on Instagram that follows the show, because y'all been showing a brother a hell of a lot of love. And I'm so grateful for that. The TikTok followers are coming in every day now. And listen, when it comes to the Most High, y'all can't win, narcs. Righteousness is always going to prevail. So no matter how much you try to knock us down, it ain't going to happen. There's a lot of people that want to see me quit. There's a lot of people that want you to quit, people. In one shape, they want you to stop doing what you're doing. But you can't allow their weak perceptions of you, which really comes from a deep-rooted sense of insecurity, to affect you. Because when it comes to these bullshit narratives, the people that are building these narratives is coming from great insecurity, and it's coming from a level of selfishness to where all they can see is basically creating chaos. They are agents of chaos, people. That's all they are. And the more chaotic that they can make your life, the more exhilarating it is for them. It's like a drug. So when they gaslight you, or when they create a lie through some bullshit narrative that they're building that other people are gravitating to, and they're starting to question your behavior, they're starting to question your character, it's like literally like busting a nut for them. I mean, there's no greater orgasm than the orgasm that they get mentally from seeing you be in disarray, to seeing you have other people be mad at you or talking shit about you or distancing themselves from you. Oh, look, nice. Thanks for joining. Okay, somebody's trying to promote some service, I guess. Time to find your love, no doubt. The reality is this, is that when it comes to this abuse, people, be aware, be prepared, look out for the signs, and don't allow them to build these bullshit narratives. Don't give it any energy, because if you do, what's going to wind up happening is you're going to get tangled in that web that they're weaving. And you're going to get so entangled that they're going to wind up sucking all of the blood and nutrients and everything that makes you whole out of you. Same thing like a spider. That's why if you ever seen like a bug or like a bee or fly that gets caught in the web, the spider just leaves it there, wraps it up, sucks all the whatever it eats out of it. And then it's just a shell of an insect that used to be. But just the shell is just there hanging. It's no different with a person that's dealing with a narcissist, especially when that relationship dynamic goes on from year to year to year to year. That by the time you reach year 5, you don't know if you're coming or going. You don't know what's up. You don't know what's down. You don't know what's left. You don't know what's right. You just know that you're confused and you're trying to gain some type of clarity. And what they do to you when they're building these bullshit narratives is that they're trying to invalidate who you are and what you do and contribute as a person. A lot of times when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they are so jealous of you. That's why if you're the type of person that gets a lot of attention, you're the type of person that people gravitate to. If you're the type of person that people, when they're around you, they feel good. Oh, no. The narcissist is going to do everything in their power to gain that attention from you by triangulating other people against you. And how do they do that? Where does the foundation of that triangulation start from? The narrative that they have to build. And they usually have to plant a significant bullshit seed that is going to be able to sprout out and start to gain momentum with its roots. And they want to build strong roots so that that tree can grow out and branch out and basically get it to the point where they're going to hang you on that tree, okay? And you're going to be lifeless, not knowing what the hell to do. And a lot of you that are listening to this broadcast through Spreaker right now, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all have seen it. Sometimes you just don't want to accept it. And a lot of times it's because we respect these people or we care about them or we love them and we keep giving them the benefit of the doubt because at one point in time, when they originally presented themselves to you, or if you grew up with them, there was a lot of qualities in them that you can appreciate. But a lot of times when these people are in your lives, most of that kind or what seems to be empathetic, because they're capable of being empathetic. Let's not get it twisted. They're very capable of that. The problem is that they're not doing it for anything that's good. They're doing it to manipulate, to gain control over your mind. Because their whole thing is that they need to keep you in a place where you serve a purpose for them. They have no intentions on serving anything to you except chaos. And that's why we have to be careful with these bullshit narratives, because it can really spiral into something very, very toxic and evil. And this type of behavior, believe it or not, this is the type of behavior that got a lot of people killed back in the days. Right? How many brothers and sisters that are melanated, highly melanated, some that are, let's just say the brothers and sisters that have lived throughout the centuries here in the United Shenanigans of America, how many of those people got killed based on some narrative from some racist white supremacist? Or a racist white woman in the 18, 16, 17, and early 19 or even later 1900s. How many people, right? Like even Rosewood. What happened in Rosewood? Remember, there was a woman who was having an affair with a blacksmith that was from another town. He wound up whooping her ass, beating the shit out of her. And then, what did she say? She said that she was raped and abused or beaten or whatever she said by a black man. And of course, she used the N-word, but that was her narrative. And then she had a whole story about how it happened. And of course, because of the climate in that time in Rosewood, Florida, what wound up happening? I mean, hundreds of people got slaughtered. Hundreds of so-called black Americans, but hundreds, if not a couple of thousand, I think it was a couple of hundred, several hundred people got slaughtered. And then if you want, you could go into the thousands because other people that was in the town in nearby towns were getting slaughtered too. It was a whole, slaughter, a whole lynching that just went way out of control based on one bullshit fucking narrative that kept growing and growing and growing. Because people, you know, it happens. Somebody can say, and then next thing you know, they whisper something in somebody's ear, and the next thing you know, it spreads like wildfire. That's what the narc does. I seen this happen to me when I first met up with my ex-narc partner, all right? She was building narratives back then, and I wasn't even aware of it, talking a bunch of shit about me to other people that wasn't true. That's why I had to do that show, Sleeping with the Enemy, because I had to let people know, like, hey, this is what's really going on. Let's not get it twisted. This is the real deal. See, because I'm the type of person, I will expose a narc. I've done it before and I'll do it again because I can't stand a bully. I hate that shit. I hate the bully. You know, I always feel like bullies need to be taken the fuck out quicker than they started their bullying because enough is enough. There's a lot of good people out here and we need to stick together. And the only way we're going to stick together in helping each other out is if we exercise that empathy and then put it into charity and are charitable with our good deeds. Because if not, these narcs are going to run a fucking amok on our society like they have been. There's so many of them on social media. There's so many of them in government. There's so many of them in Hollywood. There's so many of them in the music industry. There's so many of them. I mean, when you want to talk about a lot of narcissism, corporate America, baby. That is Narcissismville, as well as Hollywood. You can't get no more narcish than politicians, entertainers, in corporate America. And I would also say the pastors, too. A lot of these people from these churches and cults, these cults and churches and congregations got a lot of narcs, too. Because narcs love being in positions of power and influence so that they can control whatever narrative of the people that are believing in their bullshit. And that's why you have so much turmoil in churches and in other places where there's always going to be one or two or three or four. There's going to be like something smells rotten here in Denmark and we need to find out what the fuck it is. Okay. There's always going to be that one person, but that usually is the person that gets ostracized because they're exposing the bullshit narrative. And then slowly but surely, other people may gravitate to it. Or what that person winds up doing is they dismiss themselves from that group. And then everybody in the group starts talking shit about that person like they lost their way. They're going to lose their crown. They're not going to be able to get their robe. They're not going to be able to get that promotion. Oh, they were so close to getting their retirement and pension and all this bullshit based on the fact that they knew that they were being lied to. They knew they were being manipulated. And all they tried to do was say, hey, enough is enough. So people, I'm here to say this because I'm not going to stay on much longer. I just want to say, be aware when these narratives are being built. And if you can, and I say can, nip it in the bud, do something about it. But if not, get away from it and don't give it your energy. Because the moment you answer, and I fell victim to this. Listen, I'll be straight up with y'all. You know, I can admit when I'm wrong. I fed into this bullshit narcissistic behavior. And it's one of the reasons why some of it got to spiral out of control because I kept giving it energy. I kept giving it energy when I should have just let it go and just kept living my fucking life like I was doing, like I'm doing right now. That's why I present this information because I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this part of my platform when it comes to mental health because you've heard me talk about mental health for the past 2 years that we are all struggling here in the United States when it comes to mental health. The mental health of most Americans is poor. It's low. It's not good. We are anxiety-ridden people. We are suffering from forms of depression that we've never even seen before. And what I like to call it, functional depression. And that's actually, now that I said that, there's actually, this is a title for a show I wanted to do. So I just want to make a note of this, that in one of my series or in one of my shows, we're going to talk about functional depression because functional depression, people, is a big thing right now. There's a lot of people walking around depressed as fuck. And believe it or not, a lot of people that are depressed as fuck are the narcissists. But you know what they do? They go and get their energy supplies and they are really the type of people where they really feel like shit inside. But the way they think they make themselves feel good is by keeping you deaf, dumb, and blind with their lies, keeping you confused and overwhelmed, and constantly getting you to be empathetic to them when they're not empathetic to you. When you're giving compassion to them, they are just taking your compassion and running with it, and they have nothing to offer you. And this is and the people that I really feel for are the ones that work with these people. Because a lot of times you can't leave that job, or you could technically, but a lot of people are tied into jobs that they want to stay at. These jobs are supporting their families, and they can't just leave something that they've invested a lot of time in. So a lot of times they have to find ways on how to deal with these people. And for the person that's sending me all these matches, future is here. Sorry, considering the narcissistic abuse that I received, I'm not looking to find anybody on no dating site. I had to block them. Let's get them the hell out of here. People, I would suggest when you're dating, I wouldn't do the online dating thing. I would definitely do something in person organically and take your time in getting to know the person. All right. Take your time, because if not, you can wind up dealing with a narc and not even know it until it's too late. So brothers and sisters, I'm going to play some music and I'm going to end the show. And I'm just going to say this is that be aware and be prepared to deal with the narcissist accordingly. And the best way to deal with a narcissist is to not deal with them at all. So brothers and sisters, I want to thank you for joining me on this broadcast. And I want to get some music here real quick. I'm going to get something very uplifting. Here we go. Yeah. So brothers and sisters, man, I just want to say this, is that when you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. And don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness. Stay tuned for some music. This is All the Informationless, saying peace, love, and light. And Barakatah, all praise to the Heavenly Father, the Most High, our Creator, Yahweh Elohim, of that which is and always will be. Peace and blessing, brothers and sisters. Let's go.
My tree, she rides the night next to me.
tuned in to the network of awareness.
I made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been a lot before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime to drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourishment until I perish.
Yahweh's gonna save the awakened, then take him to an ageless haven. Patient, I can't straightway, gotta keep obliterating the pavement. Still remember that day on the phone, Mark, he said, yo, don't you take your foot off the gas. Always something to give y'all praises.
We're the dark oasis, countless cases, a peak of faithless. I'ma need the patience, defeat them chases. We seek his graces for true salvation. We keep embracing, we go on blazing these revelations. Cease to hate, no altercations. Good vibrations, we back to basics to build foundations. Y'all defeated Satan. I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been a lot before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime to drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourishment until I perish. People pursuing acts of violence. Third persistent act of defiance. Freely forming a righteous alliance. Truly against the science appliance. On a mission with wisdom and guidance. Steady defeating the ignorant science. Sealy convicted and non-compliant. Spiritual wars that move in silence.
Let's talk about what matters. Drop the vanity. Folks out here losing their sanity. Kids popping off, lost in fantasies. People grieving over loss of family. The evil that be with the power. Turning the people with credence to cowards. Seeking to seize believers with vows. Man, even Stevie can see that it's foul.
I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been a lot before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime to drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourishment until I perish.
Depression gone with every song. Music led by another echelon.
To get you strong, keep pressing on. Long after we dead and gone.
From dusk till dawn, we're righteously armed with spiritual lessons from Yah.
We where we belong, we keeping on. The righteous with third of Zion.
Records embellished with heavily eloquence.
Elohim's presence presently evident.
Intricate elements, infinite intelligence.
Spiritual specimens lyrically resonant.
The gift was inheritance, smaller percentages.
Carefully measured and meant to be shared.
With the message projected, cemented, embedded.
The sensible question is, what will you get from it? I made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been a lot before churches. Cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions. Cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching. Networking and murking. Anytime to drop my curtain. With a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose. To lyrically service the mental malnourishment until I perish.
Out my way, I'm coming through with the squad. I could never lose, cause I'm moving with God. Fight the power, Mr. Man, wanna ruin us all. But there's too many of us and we all true to the cause. Che Guevara in my starter, rage against the machine. Fight the power, take tomorrow back and wipe the slate clean. We ain't gon' cower to these cowards, we gon' stand for what's right. Get hype in this mug while we spreading the light. Where my soldiers at? Get it going, we gon' show them we ain't cheap. Yo, it's over, overthrow they ass. Let them know you mad, bring it to them right where they stay. Don't trip, tater chip, love wins at the end of the day. Stick it to the man, stick it to the man. Revolutionary, getting litty with the fan. Yeah, I be on my grizzly, getting busy for the plan. Ask me why I did it, yo, I did it cause I can't. Nothing gonna stop me, finna hit them till they can't take it anymore, they gon' give us all the man. Youth gon' rise up, stick it to the man. I'ma rage till I die, cause this is who I am. Fat cats eating while the rest of us starve. We can't have that. Fed up, get ready for war. Can't have fast revolution doing the most. We won't go quiet, don't listen to us, you told. We done playing with you, it ain't a game, yo, we making history. Baby, fuck the fame, I wanna change the system. Break your prison, got the key for the lock. Won't stop till we free and my people on top. On God, homie, is you really with us, so what you bout? Make a decision, get busy living, so out for the real things. You are what you do, who are you? I'm definitely and I came to rule. Stick it to the man, stick it to the man. You's gon' rise up, stick it to the man. You's gon' rise up, stick it to the man. You's gon' rise up, stick it to the man. Run up in the Senate, niggas, hush. Think you getting over on us, but you not. The system has been rigged, the government's been bought. The house don't represent us, it represents the ops. Stand with standing by, take the man right out. God damn it, we ain't having what you handing out. We want clean air, clean food, water. A future for our kids, bitch, this a new order. Tear down the wall, love is for all. Death to the man in the system we call. Freedom ain't free if you can't breathe. Real people stay woke, we ain't gon' sleep. Get it crackin', packin' activism. A full clip, show them crackers we ain't having all that bullshit. The aristocracy is gonna share starting now. Stick it to the man, pull the trigger. Wow, stick it to the man. Stick it to the man. Stick it to the man. Stick it to the man.
Stick it to the motherfucking man.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Yeah.
Don't you get rid of this, consider this thing. Don't you get rid of this, consider this thing.
How can you walk upright when your pants falling and you sipping on lean? Can't even go a day without Mary. Stuck in a web of rejection. Billboard stars twisting your conscience up like a wind-up toy. Got your daily problems all bottled, but you try to cap it with a pill. Prevalent views for the thrill, an escape to remove from the real. Is it really cause you in peril, or is it mimic Hollywood? Sip after sip, snip after snip. You're killing yourself, can't see it's draining your soul and taking a toll. Don't take it from me, tell him JB.
My spirit was dead, clouded with haze. I was chasing a high, labyrinth mind, numbing the pain. Stuck in a cycle, I wish I had closed. I look at my wounds, open as torture, but it's too soon. Another excuse, I was addicted. Capital E, evicted out my own body, had no control. Passenger seat, I was out for a ride and I noticed that the ride won't end. Had to jump out that car, took a leap of faith. Too attached, had me crash, got up leaning, and I got out scarred. Most High saved my life, he cut them demons down. He healed me all around. So I'ma tell you right now, this world ain't worth it, no. Those drugs ain't worth it, no. Don't lose your purpose, whoa. Yes, I'm talking to you, children. Listen to your parents now while you have them. Especially hold fast to their words when they talking about Messiah. Consider this a warning now.
This concludes the Network of Awareness podcast. For more information on the Network of Awareness, please subscribe via email to our website, networkofawareness.com, and follow us on Spreaker.com or any other listening apps you use. For any questions about the NOA, email us at ORRA@networkofawareness.com. Thank you for listening to one of the fastest growing podcast shows on society and culture in America and abroad. When you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.